12. Most mysterious and terrifying discoveries that shook the world of archaeology. In this vast and expansive world, there are countless secrets that we cannot explain. These may be natural phenomena or remnants of civilizations that once existed throughout history. They stand tall and persistent through hundreds, even thousands of years, challenging human understanding. From mysterious skulls in the desert, to ancient tombs in Japan, and to enigmatic structures in Egypt, we often find strange things in the most unexpected places, proving something profound from a tumultuous past. They exist as an unbeatable presence against time. Join us as we journey back in time to explore the discoveries considered mysterious, shocking humanity, right in today's video. Giant 5,000-year-old human bones. Since 2016, archaeologists have begun excavating a vast site in eastern China. This site includes the remnants of 104 houses, 205 mass graves, and 20 sacrificial pits. The artifacts belong to an ancient culture known as the Longshan culture, dating back 5,000 years to the Stone Age. Recently, scientists have found unusually tall and robust human skeletons. The remains discovered are significantly taller than the majority of people today. One skeleton measures 1.9 meters, while many others are 1.8 meters or even taller. Archaeologists state this is just the skeletal structure. If this person were alive, he would certainly be over 1.9 meters, perhaps even 2 meters. The skeleton of this exceptionally tall man was found in a larger grave, leading researchers to infer that, due to his remarkable height, he likely held a high status in the community. Additionally, archaeologists also discovered many wounds on the head and legs of the larger skeleton. These injuries appeared shortly after burial, possibly resulting from power struggles among the living. Mortuary Temple. Located beneath the cliffs at Deir el-Bahari on the west bank of the Nile, the Mortuary Temple was designed in a colonnade structure by Hatshepsut's royal architect, Senenmut. It is considered a place of worship for Hatshepsut after her death and expresses reverence for the god Amun. Hatshepsut's temple features a long terrace, deviating from the centralized structure of the Mentuhotep model, an anomaly possibly due to the decentralized location of her burial chamber. There are 3 terraces rising 29.5 meters high. Each level is connected by a series of double columns of square pillars, except for the northwest corner of the terrace, which uses Proto-Doric columns for the prayer house. These terraces are linked by long ramps that were once surrounded by gardens with exotic trees, including sandalwood and tamarind. The stratification of Hatshepsut's temple corresponds to the classical Theban form, using porticos, courts, hypostyle halls, sun courts, chapels, and sanctuaries. Hatshepsut's temple is considered the closest Egypt has to classical architecture. However, the original design of the temple has been significantly altered due to misguided restorations in the early 20th century. Skull shining in the Sahara Desert. NASA has just released an intriguing and unusual image taken from the International Space Station, ISS, of a crater in the Sahara Desert, which remarkably resembles a skull. This crater has a unique shape, appearing as a glowing skull gazing into space. It is believed to be the remnants of a major volcanic eruption that occurred long ago. The white color of the skull, nose, and cheeks in this image is created by a layer of natron, composed of decahydrate sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, sodium chloride, and sodium sulfate, produced by geothermal activity in the area. The distinctive shape of this crater creates an impressive figure resembling a strange skull hidden behind the Tibesti Massif mountain range, stretching from the center of the Sahara Desert through Chad and Libya. The steep conical hills surrounding the crater are the result of geological activity spanning millions of years. The dark area on the left side of the image is created by the high geological rim of the crater. Notably, beyond the wonder of this shape, researchers discovered fossils of marine mollusks and plankton beneath the natron layer in this crater during the 1960s. Fossils of algae dating back 120,000 years were also found in the area in 2015. This image is not only a testament to the marvels and uniqueness of nature, but also a demonstration of our ability to conduct research and scientific exploration in some of the most extreme environments on our beautiful planet. Medieval mummy in a lead coffin. More than 40 years ago, researchers discovered the nearly perfect remains of a medieval man inside a wooden coffin encased in lead. They now have a clearer understanding of the identity of this famous mummy, nicknamed St. Bees Man. The medieval mummy was excavated in 1981 from a burial chamber beneath the side aisle of the ruined church at St. Bees Priory in Cumbria, northern England. In addition to the lead coffin, archaeologists also found the skeletal remains of a woman, whose soft tissues had completely decomposed over the centuries. Based on the dating of the woman's remains, the archaeological team hoped to find another skeleton when they opened the coffin. To their surprise, the body was extremely well preserved, tightly wrapped in linen. It is likely that the body was preserved in an uncontaminated state due to the lead casing, an ancient method of corpse preservation. Through analysis, researchers concluded that the man was buried sometime between 1290 and 1500. He died around the age of 40, with a possible variation of 5 years, due to multiple broken ribs, a fractured jaw, and a punctured lung. These injuries could have been sustained in battle or from brutal violence. The ultimate cause of death was due to pneumothorax and blood accumulation in the chest cavity. Initially, the man's identity was a mystery. The luxurious burial indicated he held a high social status, but there were no records to establish who he was or why he was buried in this manner. A leading hypothesis suggests he was Sir Anthony de Lucy, who died in 1368 in present-day Lithuania during the Northern Crusades. From the 12th century onward, Christian kings in Western Europe launched a series of military campaigns against the peoples in the Baltic, Finland, and West Slavic regions to force their conversion. Some evidence suggests that English forces attacked a fortress in Kaunas, resulting in 3 deaths. The injuries of Anthony de Lucy, including a fractured jaw and punctured lung, align with those of the man in the coffin. The identity of the woman buried alongside him is less clear. Anthony de Lucy's wife later remarried and died in London in her 70s. Thus, the most likely possibility is that the woman was Maud de Lucy, the sister who inherited most of the wealth after Anthony's death and had a close relationship with her brother. 550,000-year-old human tooth. At the Candelarigo Cave in Taudevel, Eastern Pyrenees National Park, archaeologists have discovered a 550,000-year-old human tooth. They believe this find is significant evidence that humans inhabited Europe much earlier than previously thought. The oldest known human remains found in Europe is a jaw fragment excavated in Germany in 1907, dated to 600,000 years old. Prior to this, archaeologists also found human bones in France that were 100,000 years old. The site where the tooth was found is notable for the discovery of Taudevel man, a specimen of the Homo erectus species dating back 450,000 years. However, this tooth is 100,000 years older than Taudevel man. Researchers indicate that this is a tooth from an adult, but the gender has not yet been determined. It is known that remains of individuals aged between 500,000 and 800,000 years are becoming rare in Europe, and this newly found tooth fills a small gap in the timeline of 300,000 years. The tooth was quite decayed, but researchers still hope to use it to learn more about the identity of these early European inhabitants. Apocalypse Movie Theater. The Apocalypse Movie Theater in the Sinai Desert, Egypt, was built by Dean Edel, a French man who has captured the attention of the media and tourists. This unique cinema is remarkable not only for its location, but also for its distinctiveness and vibrancy. Known as a film enthusiast, Dean Edel wanted to create a space where people in the Sinai Desert could come together to enjoy great movies. He decided to pursue his crazy cinematic dream here. The outdoor theater features 150 wooden seats, inspired by his experience of getting lost in the Sinai Desert. He returned to Paris, France, to raise funds to purchase items from an old theater in India. The theater is equipped with a generator and a large sail-like projection screen. Anyone who sees it would likely think this is a cinema for ancient residents. However, the special aspect of this cinema is that it has never screened a film or welcomed visitors in the past 30 years. The reason is that on the night of its first scheduled screening, local officials were displeased with the theater being built without their permission, combined with an incident involving the generator, which led to the opening not taking place that night or any night thereafter. This cinema has been abandoned for the past 30 years, earning it the nickname Apocalypse Movie Theater. The generator has been destroyed, leaving only the 150 seats awaiting an unfinished project. However, in 2018, the Egyptian government closed off the area, making the theater no longer visible. Skeletons under the swimming pool. Recently, during excavation work on the foundation of the Newington Hotel in Vale Mountain to build new housing, workers discovered dozens of skeletons lying just beneath the hotel's old swimming pool. These remains, believed to belong to Romans, include skeletons of men, women, and children. Some of the remains are estimated to date back to 50 BC, and many bronze spearheads were found buried around them. However, the discovery of these skeletons did not come as a surprise to researchers, as the hotel is located right next to a graveyard that archaeologist Wenham excavated in the 1950s. This was one of the first Roman-British burial sites to be published. The newly discovered area is only about 300 meters from the site excavated in 2004 and 2005, where the graves of over 30 beheaded Romans, possibly gladiators, were found. That project lasted 3 months, with a total of 75 graves documented. The York Archaeological Trust noted that most of the graves are not deeply buried, which means many archaeological remains have been damaged due to medieval farming practices and 19th century construction. Furthermore, according to Wenham, the male skeletons found on the hotel site often show signs of blunt force trauma. Some even exhibit clear bite marks from large predators, possibly lions or bears. These details suggest that these may have been gladiators used for entertainment by the ruling class in society. This raises questions. Would tourists want to stay overnight at one of the largest ancient cemeteries in England once the new hotel is established? Unusual 2,000-year-old treasure. A recent excavation in the frozen city of Pompeii has led archaeologists to an unimaginable treasure. What the excavation team at the Archaeological Park of Pompeii, Italy, calls the most unusual treasure is a large house where everything inside appears to have been frozen in time for 2,000 years. Pompeii is known as an ancient city devastated by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. The site is famous for its frozen people, victims who were enveloped by volcanic ash so quickly that they died in the positions they held while alive, lying down, sitting with their knees drawn up, or running away. The sudden onslaught of lava and ash helped preserve many intact infrastructures, but nothing is as strange as what has just been discovered. They stumbled upon a construction site preserved as if it were still active, despite being buried for 2,000 years. Inside the house, where repairs were underway just before the disaster struck, were piles of mortar and neatly stacked floor tiles ready for installation. All of this provides archaeologists with a perfect time capsule, allowing them a direct glimpse into human life and building techniques from 2,000 years ago. The house belonged to a baker, as evidenced by an intact oven found within. Notably, scientists also discovered a piece of art depicting flatbread and a wine cup, along with a campaign poster showing support for a politician named Aulus Rustius Verus. Not far from the oven, the remains of 2 women and a young boy were also found. In the house's reception area, artifacts used for inventory related to construction still remained. Meanwhile, in the family shrine were amphorae used to mix plaster for finishing the room's walls. Furthermore, some construction tools that are still used today, such as plumb bobs and concrete mixing tools, were found in other rooms. This discovery is particularly significant as it reveals the recipes and methods for mixing concrete used by the ancient Romans, which was durable and even had the ability to self-heal small cracks, allowing it to last for thousands of years. Analyses show that dry lime and dry pozzolana were mixed with very hot water to create a highly durable concrete that sets quickly and self-heals thanks to moisture. This indicates that the skills of the Pompeians, and the ancient Romans in general, were so impressive that scientists believe modern humanity can learn much from their construction techniques and material technologies. Giant stone statues. Under shallow water. In 2019, residents of the village of Arasinakere in India unearthed 2 incredibly large stone statues buried deep beneath the bottom of a dry, shallow lake. These sculptures depict Nandi, the bull, the mount of the god Shiva, and are typically placed in sacred spots in Hindu temples. Therefore, finding them buried at the bottom of the lake is quite unusual. According to locals, this area once housed a temple dedicated to Shiva from around the 16th century to the early 20th century and was a famous pilgrimage site for Hindu devotees. However, for some mysterious reason not documented, the temple was submerged, and it is possible that the massive statues could not be removed in time, becoming covered by mud over the years. Alternatively, they may have been intentionally buried under the lake. Currently, both Nandi statues remain deep underground while awaiting archaeologists to plan their next steps for research and preservation. Impenetrable tombs. Coffin refers to over 160,000 burial mounds used to inter emperors and members of the royal family from the early 3rd century to the 6th century in Japan. These tombs were constructed from large stones and covered with a layer of earth, resembling small hills. Throughout history, the tombs have taken on various shapes, such as circular or square, but the most common is the keyhole shape, a form of architecture unique to the land of the rising sun. Experts are unsure what the keyholes represent, but they believe they may symbolize a doorway to another world or signify power and wealth. Interestingly, this keyhole architecture has also been found by NASA satellites while exploring the surface of Mars. So, could there be any connection between the two? The design of Coffin tombs also shares similarities with pyramids, and the burial practices of Japanese emperors resemble those of pharaohs. They were buried with their possessions, including swords, bronze, gold, treasures, and even concubines. One of the most prominent Coffin is the Daisen-ryo Coffin, the largest tomb located in Osaka. This tomb stands 35 meters tall, is over 300 meters wide, and nearly 500 meters long. It was constructed around the 4th to 5th centuries and is protected by 3 moats and 2 belts of greenery. It is one of the 3 largest tombs in the world, alongside the tomb of Qin Shi Huang and the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is estimated that this tomb required 2,000 workers and took 16 years to build. 600-year-old ancient bricks. During the excavation for this restoration, authorities and locals uncovered many remnants of the old temple, including stone foundations, floor tiles, roof tiles, and stone steps. However, these ancient artifacts were later dispersed. Some were taken to the Enigmatic Museum, the Quin Lu Traditional Room, while others were kept by local families or descendants. When the temple was completed and put into use, some valuable artifacts were returned by local families for preservation and worship. Among the artifacts discovered were 10 brightly colored floor tiles with unique and eye-catching decorative patterns. These tiles are made of baked clay, measuring 38 centimeters and 8 centimeters thick. The center of each tile features a chrysanthemum design with raised circles, surrounded by smaller raised circles. The petals are stylized, and the outer edges have 2 layers of wave patterns, adorning all 4 sides, creating a square encasing the chrysanthemum. Each side has half circles and half chrysanthemum shapes. When the tiles are connected, they form new chrysanthemum designs on all 4 sides. Researcher Dao Tam Tin, former director of the Archaeology Library, noted that the patterns on these tiles are characteristic of the Tran dynasty's tiles. Since the temple was built in 1403, shortly after the establishment of the Ho dynasty, many aspects of the Tran dynasty still had a significant influence, including ceramic art. Remarkably, these floor tiles, over 600 years old and buried underground, remain fresh and well-preserved in their designs and details. In addition to the 10 floor tiles, the Ho Hung Dat Temple also retains a portion of an eave corner, decorated with leaf vine patterns, along with 16 stone bases of various sizes. The largest base stands 0.35 meters tall, with dimensions of 0.6 dx 0.6 mm. These artifacts are considered rare treasures in Ngay'an province. Mysterious metal pillar in the desert. Recently, biologists discovered a metal structure nestled among red rocks in a remote area of Utah while counting bighorn sheep from a helicopter. The metal pillar, estimated to be about 10 feet tall, appears to be buried in the ground. Its shiny exterior contrasts sharply with the deep red of the surrounding rock. Brett Hutchings, the helicopter pilot, shared, "It's the strangest thing I've ever come across during my time working." According to Hutchings, the structure looks like an artificial object and is securely anchored, not just dropped from above. He remarked that the pillar and its surroundings resembled the famous scene from Stanley Kubrick's 1968 film 2001, A Space Odyssey, where a group of primates encounters a towering monolith. After spotting the pillar, the team landed to get a closer look. Members of the crew stood on each other's shoulders to touch the top of the metal column. Some observers noted that the pillar resembles the sculptural work of artist John McCracken, who lived in New Mexico and New York before his death in 2011. However, concerned that amateur explorers might get stranded in the wilderness while searching for the metal column, the research team has not disclosed its exact location, and the whereabouts of the pillar remain a mystery. Archaeology always knows how to spark our curiosity with unique discoveries that seem to defy existence. There is ample evidence to show that ancient people possessed remarkable intelligence through these findings. So, among the discoveries mentioned, which one impresses you the most? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to give our channel a like and subscribe so you won't miss out on other fascinating discoveries. For now, goodbye, and see you next time.